What's up, YouTube? This is Ultimate Shield 340 back again with another Destiny 2 video. So in today's video, we are going to talk a little bit more about, just some things that I think that the Titan class can use to make it feel a little bit better while we kind of wait for whatever Bungie's response is to the Titan issue that we have at this moment. So the first thing I wanted to go ahead and mention that these suggestions that I have here, these are just quality of life changes, which I think the Titans actually need to help them feel a little bit better until there's actually like a full on. I actually don't know what Bungie plans on doing, but these suggestions that I'm making here is just something that we can kind of do in the meantime until we figure out a more permanent solution for the Titan class. And I hope that, maybe you all can chime in down below. Let me know your thoughts down below as far as what my suggestions are, my right, wrong, and let's get that conversation started. So without further ado, let's go. So the title of this video is called Let's Redo Overshields. And the reason why I say this is because I believe that Overshields in Destiny 2, specifically for the Titan class, it needs to be redone for a number of reasons. First of all, the three classes, especially when you look at the void aspects, each of the three classes specialize in three different things. For warlocks, they specialize in devour, where their devour is much more, I don't know how to say it, but it's a much more potent version of devour, where devour for the hunter and the titan, it only, I can't remember off the top of my head, it only restores a certain amount of health. We'll say 50 for, I don't know if that's actually the case, but we'll just say it's 50 health. And then it restores some grenade ammo. Whereas the warlock, you are given a much more potent version of it, where it will actually refill all of your health whenever you get devour on the warlock class, if you use specific aspects on the that the warlocks actually have. And the same thing for hunters, where they actually have a specialization for a different reason. So they actually specialize in invisibility as their sort of their speciality for the void class. And as a result, what do Titans specialize in? They actually specialize in overshields. Many of the aspects and fragments that the Titan class actually has for void all revolves around having overshields, getting overshields, and then adding a little bit of extra on the top of your abilities and recharge rates when you have an overshield as a Titan. So my suggestion is this: why don't we sort of do the same, give the warlock treatment for devour, but to the Titans for overshield? And specifically what I mean is that why don't we make overshields for Titans a little bit more potent, in the sense of, instead of obviously, of course, you'll get the full overshield, but then extend the health on the overshield so that it will be, I can't remember what overshields are off the top of my head, but let's just say, for the sake of argument, a regular overshield under normal circumstances you would get would be like 100 HP overshield. Well, why don't we just give the Titans maybe a 200 HP overshield, but leave the effectiveness the same thing in PvP? The reason why I say this is because if you are going to make the Titan kit focus around melees and things, you have to sort of incentivize, the Titan class with being able to survive while you are in melee content. And I realize that this is going to be kind of a difficult feat to sort of balance, especially whenever you look at lower end content in regards to higher end content, if we make this change. The issue will be that in lower end content, that you are not going to, if you change overshields in this way, you're going to be you're going to have so much survivability, it's going to trivialize like lower content. And by lower content, I mean just like general GMs and things like that. And a lot of the, just the normal versions of the story mode in, the story. However, I think that while initially it might be this way, I think that it would be a good change to have, especially when you look at the top end content, where in general, in like say GM's Nightfall GM's, that 200 HP overshield is going to go a long way and be able to allow you to be in melee range for longer. which only supports the Titan power fantasy of, melee infused attacks and things like that. And the same thing can be done for Prismatic, where it kind of does something similar already for Woven Mail. For those of you who don't know, Woven Mail is 5 seconds for all classes except for Titans whenever they have the Evadant Leap um, exotic actually equipped on Prismatic. I think it's the same thing for the Strand Titan. I believe if you have the Evadant Leap for Titan and you have the Strand class, you get Woven Mail for 10 seconds. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's also the Into the Fray aspect. If you actually have that and you run that, you'll also get 10 seconds by default if you are running the Strand subclass. But I'm not 100% sure. But the point of this is to say that even if we make this change, it might trivialize some of the general content, but it is going to go a long way in helping the Titans sort of find their identity in harder game content, especially when you kind of take this into account with Prismatic, where if you give them that 200 HP overshield, not only would it might I'll be honest with you, it's not going to overshadow the sheer damage that you are going to get with say Consecration Slam. But what it actually might affect is that if you do this as a baseline across the class for Titans across specifically, you're gonna get that extended overshield whenever you pick up your orbs of power using one of the facets. I can't remember what the facet name is off the top of my head, but it's the one where if you have a specific, whatever your super is, in this case you would do Void. Whatever your super is, you would get a buff based upon whatever super that you have equipped, and you would actually get an overshield every time you pick up an overpower. But in my example, you would get the 200 HP overshield that I had suggested, and I think that would be a small quality of life update you can give to the Titans in order to help make their kit feel a little bit better in the interim of figuring out a more permanent solution for the class. And I say this because it might seem like kind of an unusual suggestion, but I was thinking about this, but they already kind of do this with Warlock, where even in their Prismatic subclass, Devour for Warlocks, you get a full health regen whenever you get Devour on the Warlock, which is the same thing as they do in Void subclass for the Void Warlock. I apologize. So why can't we have the same kind of treatment with Prismatic and also with Void for Titans? Speaking of Overshields, I also think that one of the other changes that we could probably also make is that we sort of shorten the cooldown for Bastion for the class ability whenever you're using it in PvE content. Again, Bungie has shown that they can make changes to both PvP, how a ability functions in both PvP, and make it separate from how it functions in PvP content. And I don't see why we can't, kind of do something similar in my suggestion that we have that I presented here. And I really think it again would go a long way in helping the Titans maintain that identity, but then to also sort of give Titans that little extra push that they need in higher end content that's going to really help them out a long way. Not only that, but also it would go, it would really make their kit synergize a little bit more as well, because as it stands, one of the biggest issues, in my personal opinion, with the Titan class overall, especially when it comes to Prismatic, is that the aspects and the fragments just don't really synergize very well with the class identity of the Titan. And what I mean by that is specifically with Overshields for the Void Titan are much better than, as it stands right now, you actually get more synergy using the Overshields on Void Titan than you do on Prismatic. And the reason being is because, as I stated earlier, whenever you get Overshields on Void, there are fragments and aspects that help you synergize very well with getting Overshields, be it with offensive bulwark. You might get, increased recharge rate, your melee range is extended and it does more damage. And even when you get offensive bulwark, for instance, and you have an Overshield and you kill somebody using a melee attack, not only does it extend the range, but it also pairs well with anything where You know, you would anything that would synergize with powered melee blows would also synergize with Void Titan because all the fragments and aspects and stuff synergize so much better with that subclass rather than prismatic. So I'm hoping what I'm telling you all sort of kind of makes sense. And I think that, you know, Titans definitely need some love for sure. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Bungie has to offer as far as the changes that they're going to suggest for Titans. My only real fear, I guess, that I'm kind of hoping here is that I hope that they don't just. There's two issues that I see. First, I hope that they don't just simply slap on some buffs here and there and call it a day. But then also, I also hope that they don't just simply slap on, say, like Banner of War to the Prismatic subclass and just also call it a day. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Titan, Banner of War, Prismatic Titan, adding Banner of War to the Prismatic Titan would be fantastic, because then it would actually go a long way in helping the class maintain its survivability. But how Bungie's sort of stance with both Banner of War and anything that's you know, kind of really been a good focus and fun part of the Titan class, such as Banner of War, has typically gotten a lot of nerfs in the future because, you know, for whatever reason, Bungie doesn't know how to make that balancing act between what's fair and fun for Titans without, you know, nerfing it to the ground. And so I don't want to always just come up with something negative. I just wanted to bring some suggestions to the table. And I hope that if they are going to make some changes in the future, you know, I would be happy with whatever change that they make. I just hope that it's not just a simple buff, hoping that the, you know, a simple buff and leaving the class sort of unsynergistic as it is right now. And I hope that they don't just simply add, you know, just aspects to the class itself and just call it a day, because then you'll get to a point where, you know, if they're going to add Banner of War Titan, then why don't they just add, you know, Controlled Demolition? And then if they're going to do that, then why don't you then add, you know, Soul Invictus? And then you'll get yourself to a point where then, you know, all we're doing is simply adding all of the other subclass and aspects to Prismatic, and then why would you ever play why would you play any other class beyond Prismatic? And if that's what we're going to do for Titans, then we're not that there's anything wrong with it per se, but then they would ultimately do that for hunters and warlocks as well, and their Prismatic kits are already fantastic as it is, so they don't necessarily need a buff or, you know, just simply, you know, more aspects and fragments tacked on. Like I truly believe Bungie's gonna need to come up with a more creative solution to the Titan problem. So I think I've ran it on well enough. I feel like I've sort of explained my point. What do you all think down below? Let me know, and what do you all think about my suggestions? What are your thoughts? Please like, share, subscribe, and all those things, and I plan on putting out more content in the future. And yeah, Ultimate Shield 340 signing off, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.